Is your team ready to soar to new heights? At CTL Africa Leadership, we specialize in transforming potential into performance. Whether it's mastering winning with people, enhancing emotional intelligence, decoding human behavior, or strengthening team leadership, we've got you covered. Dive into personal leadership and elevate your corporate governance standards. Our tailor-made programs are designed to unlock your team's full potential. Don't settle for ordinary. Be extraordinary. Book a discovery call with CTL Africa today, and let's design a development program that transforms your team. Visit our website www.ctlafricaleadership.com. Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to the Leadership Platform, episode 185. My name is Joy Bosushmut, and I'm very happy to be here tonight. The entire CTL crew, Uncle Sam, Sarah, Jessie, Priscilla, we're all very happy to have you all join us this evening, and would love to know where you are also joining from. I'm connecting from Accra, Ghana. Very warm weather this evening. So where are you joining from? Please use the chat feature and then share with us. Tonight, we're going to have another amazing time learning. Everybody on this platform is very intentional about their growth, and we're very happy to have you on here. We're continuing our series on learnings from LIVE2LEAD. If you were at LIVE2LEAD, give me a shout out in the comments. Let me know if you were there, because tonight we're going to have our amazing guests who are going to be sharing their learnings from LIVE2LEAD. It was a very powerful event. For those of you who were there, our theme was Leading for Transformation. And I actually think this is a theme that should run through an entire year, because we transform from one day to another. It's not a one-day event. It's a lifestyle of transformation. All right. So we're happy to have you introduce yourself. So I have Foster Bediakon joining us from Keta, Ghana. Thank you so much for connecting with us. And we'll also want to encourage you. One thing you can do to support the leadership platform is to always share the broadcast. We encourage you to just copy the link, put it on your WhatsApp group, share it with your broadcast, and as many people as possible can join and connect tonight. So I'm looking forward to you sharing this. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, so feel free to share. And we'll promise to continue making the show better. All right. Thank you all so much again for joining. We're going to dive right into it. So I'm going to be introducing our lovely guests. Today it's a woman panel, and I say the girl fire is in the house. So we have the ladies coming on board. You want to strap in, and prepare to listen to them. So today, the LIVE2LEAD panelists are professionals in the corporate space. So we're calling this perspective of the professional participants. Last week, we had an amazing time with our panelists who were from the academia space. And today we're going to listen to the managers in the corporate space. So we have one of our guests who is the head of packaging operations at Guinness Ghana Breweries. And we also have an asset valuer. For those of you who are looking to get some assets, I think you're on the right space. Real estate consultant, team lead, and a property consultant. I'm looking forward to having her. So I'm going to bring my two guests, Rosalind Awotri Pratt and Nala Mikai, who's at Odofo, who are going to be our panelists for tonight. Welcome and good evening, ladies.
Good evening, Joy.
Good evening, Joy. Thank you.
Yes, hope you're doing well this evening.
Yes, I
Yes.
agree with
Yes.
Dennis.
So we'll just have a quick intro chat so that our audience can know you a little bit more. Just a minute. Tell us a little bit about yourself. So Rosalind is from Guinness, Ghana. Please tell us just a little bit about you, some fun facts also about you before we get started.
Okay, so as Joy said, my name is Rosalind Awachiprat. I work with Guinness Ghana. I'm a chemical engineer and a chartered risk analyst as well, with a postgraduate certificate in data science. I've worked with Guinness for 13 years. And
Wow.
for the past 8 years in various managerial roles, so I've had to work with people and learned that to deliver, it's the people that you need to ensure that you're developing, growing them along
Yeah.
with you to ensure that the results that you need, you get the results as well. I am a Christian. I'm married with a son. And yes, basically that's me. And I'm passionate about personal growth. So that's why you
Yeah.
see me on TLP.
Yes. And I think when we're having our dry run, you shared something that was very profound. You said as you grew, you went up the ladder in your corporate life, you realized that the technical aspect of your role was diminishing while the
Yes.
people skills you needed to do your job was increasing. So you were a chemical engineer, but now probably 80% of your work is about people skills.
So
And I felt that that's actually what we preach and teach at CTL, because everything is about relationships. So if you don't know how to develop your relationship with people, you can be an excellent, packaging manager, and then very good at supply chain, but then your people would be running away from you. So it was great you share that with us. All right, so let me speak to Haina. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, Joy, and good evening to all your listeners and
Yes.
viewers.
Yes. So just share with us a little bit more about you so that we can understand where we are going to be diving in this evening. Just some perspective about you, what you love, what you do for fun.
Okay, all right. So, good evening once again to everyone. I am very delighted to be here this evening to discuss some insights and then discuss the subject of leadership, specifically the takeaways after the just ended Live to Lead 2024. So, as mentioned earlier, I am a professional in the real estate space, leading a team of young men and women to provide real estate consultancy services to our clients. And as the team lead, you would agree with me that sharpening my leadership skills is very crucial for the growth and success of my business. And it's for that reason that I don't joke with the leadership platform at all. And then the Leave to Lead sessions we've been having every year. And I thank God for meeting Mr. Yim and his team. And since then, I've just stuck on the leadership platform. I don't miss it at all. When I have to, I always make sure that I join the platform to learn and sharpen my leadership skills. And so, for somebody leading a team, you know that leadership is very crucial. And so it's something that I hold to dear, very dear to my heart. And I'm very grateful to be here this evening to discuss some insights with your viewers. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And thank you all so much for making time to share. Like we said, I hope some of us were on in the room, some of us were online. But what we've seen is that when we go back and we have these sessions, we figure out that there's so much that you may have missed because there were different perspectives listening to the same subject. So I hope that tonight will not be any exception. We'll learn so much from you. So audience, please feel free to prepare, put your questions, your comments, be engaging as much as possible. So before we start, we'll just play, for those of you who missed, we have a short trailer from our Live to Lead, just ended Live to Lead. So just take a commercial break to look at that before we come back and we begin with Na. Thank you.
You're welcome to the 2024 edition on Live to Lead.
The most important traits of a good leader, character. I take character as first, because that is inherent. And then your ability to be sympathetic to people, that's also inherent.
I believe that if we take action with what we have now with our little companies and constantly take action, we will succeed in transforming our enterprises and collectively increase the GDP of this nation and of Africa, with or without politicians.
We are here because everything rises and falls on leadership. And we are here because we want to grow. For 24 years as a corporate person, I was just doing my job. Now, I have a purpose I'm living for. We're hoping that at the end of today, you will not just go back and do your job, but you'll have a renewed mind. You will change your life. And with that transformation in you, you'll be able to go out there, help other people renew their mind, transform their lives, become better people.
Yes, 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 yes. Ha! It was an amazing day. And when we look back, we feel so proud. We feel excited that we are part of this leadership journey going on in our country and on our continent. Okay, so now, so we'll just leave the floor to you, and then please share with us your takeaways and your learnings from Live to Lead. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, and good evening once again to everyone on the call. I'm here to share with you my takeaways, what I learned from the just ended Live to Lead session we had earlier this month. For the past 6 years, I've learned a lot from Live to Lead and the leadership platform, especially regarding my leadership capabilities. And I'm grateful to CTL Africa, and I'm happy to be here to share some insights with your viewers. So I'll just go straight to the point and then start sharing what I learned, what my takeaways are from the just ended Live to Lead. I have the slides here. Joy, can you see my slide, please?
Yes, Rosalind, yes, we can see your slide, so you can carry on.
Okay, all right. Yes, so I have 4 main areas where I'm going to dwell on. And number 1 is the abundance mindset. So these are my main takeaways. The abundance mindset, leading oneself, the 10 elements to grow and scale up a business, and the categories of energies and the energy gap. So this is what I am going to dwell on this evening. Yeah, so let's start with the abundance mindset. And this I learned from John Maxwell himself. And I learned that it's very important to develop an abundance mindset as against a scarcity mindset. So we have an abundance mindset and we have a scarcity mindset. And whilst John Maxwell was taking us through this abundance mindset, he made a reference from this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. And he mentioned that highly successful people have an abundance mindset. They create their own successes through intentionality, through action, and through consistency. Yes, so highly successful people have an abundance mindset. They create their own successes through intentionality, action and consistency. Now, what at all do we mean by an abundance mindset? An abundance mindset is somebody who doesn't think of impossibilities. You don't think of not being able to execute something. You are only thinking of the positive. You have a very intentional attitude towards what your plan or your vision is. And so to have an abundance mindset, it means that you are intentional about whatever you are doing. And you just don't end there, you act upon it. And whilst you are acting, you are consistent with your actions. Yes, so it doesn't mean today maybe you want to set up, do a project. Today you take this action, the next moment you are not around to do or act on something. There should be that level of consistency before you can be a highly successful person. Yes, and also, whilst John Maxwell was discussing about abundance mindset, he also mentioned that people with abundance mindset do not always look at the fact that there is only one pie. No. So the abundance mindset goes with the fact that you do not consider just having only one pie. And having only one pie means that you have this belief that someone has already taken the pie and there's no need to forge on or move ahead or move towards attracting success. Someone with an abundant mindset has the belief that there is more than one pie, and you anticipate good things or successes, whilst you also take action to create those successes. You also create the energy and create the awareness towards attracting the successes. So having more than one pie means that you anticipate good things. You take action. That is action. So anticipate, action, and then the awareness, and then finally attracting success, the attraction. And John Maxwell referred to these as the 4 A's of the abundance mindset. And to have an abundance mindset means that you are very particular about your personal and continuous growth. And once you are particular about your personal and continuous growth, it makes you an abundance person. And you don't have that notion that the pie has already been taken, so let me relax and just be complacent and remain where I am. But once you have an abundance mindset, you know that there is more than one pie, and success is closer than you think. So you go out there, you find those extra pies, and you go for what belongs to you. Yes. So this abundance mindset as a leader has helped me. I'm able to take action on some of the things I want to do. I set my own vision. I'm intentional about it. I take action. I'm consistent. And you would realize that you attract success to yourself. And I also learned from the distinguished statesman, Mr. Kwame Pieni. Yes, he also reiterated this issue of the abundance mindset. And he also talked about leadership formation. And leadership starts from the community, it starts from the school, it starts from the church, and it starts during your formative years. And so leadership, you just don't get up and then you come into leadership. In fact, it takes years of building yourself to take up that position of leadership. And for him, he believes that it was the fact that he lived with he lived with a grandmother, he lived in a community, and the community helped to mold him. And some of these beliefs, some of these perceptions, we pick them from our communities, from the school, from the church, during your formative years, and it grows with you. It becomes part of you. So for me, with this knowledge as a takeaway, I now understand that I need to place my team members within their strength zones. You don't expect what you expect from Mr. A. You don't expect those expectations from the same thing from Mr. B. They had different growth. They grew up in different circumstances, from different communities, from different schools, from different church. And so with this knowledge, I don't expect what my team player, I only want to dwell on their strength. Yes, let me put it that way. I always want to, now, knowing that formally you see me frustrated over the fact that this person is not able to do this and this person is able to do this. But with this knowledge, now I'm able to place my team members within their strength zones. And this ensures efficiency, it ensures greater productivity. And I've realized that it's not about having the best of teams or the best of teammates. It's not enough. Rather, having the best teammates in the right positions would lead to greater efficiency and productivity. And so I have mentioned what I learned from John Maxwell, what I learned from the statesman, Mr. Kwame Pinin. And then let me also move on to Shante Noe. I hope I got the name right. Yes, from her, she also mentioned about the how to build yourself, how to lead yourself. Yes, she dwelled so much on it, and I really enjoyed her presentation. And for me, I went through a stage in my career where I had to lead myself from the very beginning. I worked with my former boss for barely 3 years, and I found myself in a position where I had to lead myself. I didn't need anyone to lead me. I had to lead myself. And by so doing, I started a firm. And so let me say that leading myself led to the birth of my firm. Yes, A&L Valuation and Property Consult, some 5 years ago. And it was a choice I made when I had absolutely nothing. Yes, I started my firm from my car boot. Yes, that's where I started. And the only thing I had was my car, and I had some files in my car, and that was where A&L was born. That was where it started. And it all started because I learned how to lead myself. I did not need a big office to start. I did not need to have a lot of staff to start. All I had was my skill, my expertise, and then I had to lead myself. I think Mr. Yim would recall. Mr. Yim knows where I started my office. He knows how we started. But I'm sure today when he comes here, he would be amazed at the transformation. And so you see, leading oneself or good leadership begins, as John Maxwell would say, good leadership begins in the trenches. Yes, that is where you learn good leadership. And Shante mentioned this. She also highlighted on it. We'll come to her points where she gave some points on how to lead oneself. So we'll get there, and I will share those tidbits with you. So becoming a leader is a lifelong learning process, and it begins when you realize or you learn how to lead yourself. Before you can be a leader, you have to learn how to lead yourself. Sometimes you need someone to cheer you on. And in the case of Chantel, she mentioned that her grandmother was her biggest cheerleader. Yes, when they went for the Olympic and the grandmother, no one was cheering, but the grandmother had to cheer. In fact, when I heard that, I was very intrigued. And it's good that whilst you lead yourself, sometimes You need somebody to cheer you on. You need somebody to tell you that yes, you can make it. Yes, just put in some effort, and you are there. Yeah. So her story on resilience was very intriguing, and in fact, it made me admire her so much, even when she had to battle breast cancer. And according to Chantel, she says, if you want to lead yourself, she gave some few points which I'm going to share here. If you want to lead yourself, you have to walk past your current adversities. You don't need to sit in your adversities. Yes, and I recall I went through some moments, sometime in my professional career, where I had to make a choice to either stay in my adversity or walk past my adversity. And I chose to walk past my adversity. And today, here I am sharing some tidbits, leading a team of young professionals at A&L Valuation and Property Consult. So if you want to lead yourself, you don't need to look at what is happening around you. There's no need to give excuses why something cannot be done. You have to start. Take that energy, that positive energy. Once you start, you realize that it can be done. Yeah, so you walk past your current adversities. Number two, you have to bend the garment of failure. Yes, you bend the garment of failure. Problems or failures are not stopping points. We shouldn't see our problems or failures as stopping points. We should rather see them as opportunities to grow. Yes, and once you see problems, you see failure as an opportunity to grow, you build upon it. So whilst you are inside the trenches where the stakes are low and you make or you fail, it is an opportunity to rise up and forge ahead. Take the opportunity to build upon yourself and to grow. Again, she also mentioned that we have to put on our full armor and go out there to find other pies. So this one takes us back to John C. Maxwell when he says that there is more than one pie. Yeah, so you need to put on your full armor and go out there and find other pies. Yeah, so if you want to lead yourself, you need to have the mindset that there is more than one pie. And whilst you have this mindset, you act upon it, you go out there and find the other pies. Remember, there is more than one pie. In her case, as an athlete, in putting on the full armor, she mentioned that she wore light clothes that will make it convenient for her to run. Again, she also wore suitable boots that will aid her in her run. And so, in putting on the full armor, we need to go prepared. We need to know the armor that will help us in the fight ahead, or that will help us in the journey ahead, so that we don't get tired midway. Again, you also need to write the vision. Write the vision so that you don't forget. Yeah, so always write down your dreams and aspirations. For me, this 31st night, 31st December New Year resolution, I stopped it long ago. I have a plan, a long-term plan, 3 years plan. And so for me, when people are making resolutions that will be forgotten after 31st of January in the next year, I have a plan, written down plan, which I follow and make sure that I put in the action and then move on. It helps me to develop my life. So what I have put down are my life goals, and I renew them every 2 years, every 3 years. And so sometimes you need to write down the vision so that you don't forget. Again, you have to make a plan to execute your vision and your goal. So you make a plan to execute your vision and your goal. You need to find somebody, and in doing so, sometimes you need to write down your plans. You need to find somebody who has done it before. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. If someone has done it, you just go to the person, you seek counsel, you seek advice, so that you don't make the same mistakes that the person has done. You come out stronger, you come out a better person. Yes, so you make a plan to execute your vision and your goal. Again, you also learn learn. Yes, you always have that yearning to learn. Learning, you have to chart new waters, you have to, yes, attend conferences like LIVE2LEAD. Yes, you fix your ears, you fix your eyes, you fix your mind on the prize daily, whilst you make strides towards lifelong learning. And also, you also have to take care of yourself. Yes, self-care is very important, because for you to be able to execute all your goals, execute all your plans, you need to be in good health. And so you have to take care of yourself. And for Shante, she was always doing this self-check. She was having her routine breast examination, and that was what even helped her to detect the breast cancer at an early stage, which saved her life. And then finally, you need to lead yourself. Yes, lead yourself. You build a resilience, and in leading yourself, you have to start with leading. You lead yourself, and then you lead others. And before you can lead yourself, you should always learn how to serve. If you cannot serve, you cannot be a good leader, because the leader is the chief servant. And so you should always learn how to serve to be a good leader. Yes, so from Chantel Lowe, these are the 8 points that I learned from her in a bid to lead myself to success. And we also had a session with David Ofosu, we had a session with Akosua, and they were all reiterating this issue of leading oneself, having the abundance mindset. And then Akosua, I recall, mentioned that you could have a mindset, different types of mindsets. We have the slavery mindset, we have the citizens mindset, and we have the global mindset. And so for all of these speakers, you realize that having the right mindset was very critical. Yes, and these mindsets, you find it at the subconscious level. She used an iceberg to make the illustration. What you see is just the tip of the iceberg. Right? The mindset is within the subconscious level and is influenced by our interactions, the interactions we make at our workplaces, at our schools, at our church, and within the family. Yes, so mindset develops over time. You need to develop that mindset. And then with time, you realize that that mindset is etched deep within your subconscious. And that is what people see. So what our actions, our doings are all because of the mindset, the type of mindset that we have. Now, let's move on to my takeaways from Brandon Dawson. Yes, he also gave us 10 elements that will help us to grow and then scale our business. So we have data, we have leadership. You see that I'm holding the leadership. You have finance, you have strategy, marketing, sales, operations, people, technology. Yes, so all these are the 10 elements that you need to grow to scale up a business if you are somebody with a business mindset. And you realize that at the core is leadership and people. Leadership, you need leadership, and then you need people. But apart from leadership, all the other 9 depend on great leadership. So if you take out leadership, you realize that data, strategy, having the finance, having that marketing skills, the sales, the operations, your technology, all these things depend on good leadership. And as John Maxwell will always say, everything rises and falls on leadership. So at the core of these 10 elements, you find good leadership. You find effective leadership. So that is also my takeaway from Brandon's presentation. And then we also had Valerie. Yes, Valerie also talked about vision, she talked about discipline, she talked about growth, and she talked about efforts. And the biggest goals comes with the biggest commitment. So it means that when your goals or your vision is big, your vision, you have very big vision, it means that you should have an equally bigger commitment. And so we usually underestimate the commitment. We always want to have that big dreams, that big vision, but we are not ready to commit to it. We are not ready to be consistent. We are not ready to take action. And so what is commitment? We are talking about discipline. We are talking about growth. And here again, we talk about the growth mindset. We talk about effort, we talk about willpower, and you have to persevere to the finish line. And all of these take energy. And so we'll come to the issue of energy too. Yes, all of these, discipline, growth, effort, the willpower, and the commitment, all of these take energy. And as a leader, you need to know how much you have to discipline yourself. You have to put in effort towards your growth, which you would need to push your vision. And so you ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much discipline, how much growth, how much effort would you require for that big vision that you have? Yes. So that is the commitment. So you need that commitment to be able to push your vision. How much energy do you have? So ask yourself, you have a very big vision. You have a very big goal. Do you have the corresponding commitment? That is the question you should be asking yourself. How much energy do you have? So on a scale of 1 to 10, you ask yourself how much growth, how much discipline, how much effort would you require to push your vision? Then you ask yourself again, how much available energy do you have? How much energy do you need? And so if you do this scaling and you realize that there's a gap, that gap is what Valerie calls the energy gap. So that is the gap between your commitment, the commitment you need, and the energy that you have is what she calls the energy gap. And if you are not able to determine your energy gap, you will continue to set very big goals. You continue to set very huge dreams. You dream big, but you realize that you are not able to achieve your goals, and that will make you frustrated. So when we set goals, when we set our performance goals, we need growth. You need the growth goals to power or give energy to your performance goals. When you get stuck in achieving your goals, it means that there is a growth gap. And so you have to go back and then find out how to get that energy to be able to move your goal. So for every performance goal, there should be an equal energy goal. Okay, so I see Joy coming in. I'm sure my time is up. So let me quickly conclude on my point. Yeah, so you cannot expect quick fixes to achieve successes. You have to make very strong fundamental shifts to your attitude, to your mindset. You have to be relentless in the pursuit of excellence. And I learned this in one of the Live2Lead sections, I think in 2019, thereabout 2021, not too sure. But I think the theme for that session was the pursuit of excellence, relentlessly pursuing excellence. Yes, so we have to be very relentless in our pursuit of excellence. Again, we should align your dreams with your available resources. So you weigh your chances of success, you weigh the available energy you have, and then when you're able to identify your energy gap, then you take steps to fill these gaps. So know your worth. John Maxwell spoke about knowing our worth. You should know that you are worthy. You should be able to distinguish what your given worth is and then what your growing worth is. The given worth are those abilities and those talents that are given to us by God. And then the growing worth is what you do with the gifts that God has given you. And so after Live2Lead, let me say I have learned to guard my energy jealously. And energy could be your mental energy, your emotional energy, your physical energy, and your spiritual energy. I've also learned to change my thoughts. That's my mental energy. And I also change, and this has helped me to change how I react to certain circumstances. It has helped me to shape my thoughts. And now I write down my thoughts on paper so that I don't lose them. Again, it has increased my positive emotional energy. And I always create that positive energy. I always want to be in a very positive environment. And I'm also intentional about increasing my physical energy. So for me, if you ask my teammates, this week I took a rest. The whole week I took a rest. Yes, so
Well done.
I'm trying to be intentional about increasing my physical energy,
Yeah.
because I will need my physical energy, yes, to push my vision. Again, I also guard my
Rosie, let me just chip in a bit. So I think that when Sarah and Uncle Sam come, we're going to ask you what you are actually doing now, based on what you have learned. So
Oh,
just save those thoughts for me, and then once we hear from Rosalind, we'll come back and then you share with us what are some of the practical things you have done, because we've all come for Live to Lead. We've been excited, we've learned a lot, but what exactly, and what you've just shared is a practical example of guarding your energy. That's a very important point. And sometimes, like you're saying, we have a lot of ambitions, but then the energy to actually get there. So you ended on a very, very good note. So we'll come back to you. Just hold that thought right there. We'll have Rosalind come in, and then Sarah will not even let you leave this call without telling us what you're actually doing with your Live to Lead lesson. So I'm going to bring. Thank you so much. So just keep that thought,
Thank
and
you,
then
Joy.
we'll come back to you shortly.
All right.
All right. So welcome again, Rosalind. We're going to have you on for 20 minutes to also share your Live to Lead takes with us. So over to you.
Thank you very much, Joy. And then thank you as well now for the lessons that you shared. It just shows all of us were in the room as well.
Yeah.
If we start with my lessons for the next slide, you would see that for me, maybe I'm jumping the gun, I'm moving it different areas based on what you just shared. But after Live to Lead, every morning I've got 3 reminders for myself now. And those 3 reminders are on the next slide. If we go to the next slide, you will see that for me, every morning nowadays, I'm telling myself that everything rises and falls with me. The buck stops with me. Whilst we were doing the recap in the beginning, you had Mr. Im standing on stage and saying that everything rises and falls with leadership. So when you're a team lead, when you're the leader of a team, even in our homes, the buck stops with us. We are the ones who are supposed to set the direction. We are the ones who are supposed to ensure that all the right things that are required are being done. And so everything rises and falls on us, and it's a responsibility that we need to carry. So when I wake up every day, the buck stops with me. What am I going to be allowing and what am I not going to be allowing? Because the things you tolerate are the things that people continue to exhibit. Also, as well, I think it was from John Maxwell as well, who said, we each rise or fall to what we believe that we are capable or we are worthy of. It speaks to the self-worth bits that Nam mentioned, the given worth, and then also the actual growing the worth as well. So I can do all things. I'm a Christian, so it comes through most of the times when in everything that I do. So the next thing I tell myself every morning is that I can do all things through Christ. Whether they are the challenges that I have never faced before at work, at home, everywhere in society, I can do all things through Christ. The big issues that we face those because we've been given the capabilities to be able to work through those. So that's one thing that we should never forget, speaking the positive to ourselves. And then as well, another thing that John Maxwell said whilst he was introducing or he was speaking to the abundance mindset, and he spoke about 7 habits of effective people, highly effective people. He said we need to be distinctive and not different. So the two aren't the same. So distinction cannot be replicated. Being different can be replicated, but distinction cannot be replicated. And distinction goes hand in hand with success. That's what we learn. And it is in consistently delivering the quantity, consistently delivering the quality. Those ones are the ones that bring the success. In our notepads that we were given during Live to Lead, for the first few pages, if you read the top, there's a quote there from Chris Robinson that says, our success in our daily agenda and our success in our daily agenda and our success is found in our consistency. It's found through our consistency. So consistently delivering the good results, consistently ensuring that you are living right. Those are one of the few things that makes you distinctive. stands out, and then you become the best leader to be moving people ahead. Next for me are the three main key takeaways, key learnings that I picked from Live to Lead. First big one is leadership of self. If you're unable to lead yourself, you cannot lead others. You cannot give what you do not have. And so you need to know what your self-worth is to be able to also give. How do you lead yourself? How do you develop yourself as well? Here, Chantelo gave us, in everything she said, it was summarized in 5 areas where she said we need to learn. We need to ensure that we are learning and then we are growing. Continuous development is the way to go. John Maxwell also spoke about this, both functionally and in our leadership. When you're in the corporate setup, your functional skills or your functional capabilities get you through the door. So as you go through the functional skills, the skills you've picked up, they get you through the door. When you are there sitting in that role, it's your leadership, how you're able to lead people, how you're able to guide the people, how you're able to grow the people. That's what keeps you growing. That's what keeps you going higher and bringing all the other people along. So you have a responsibility to yourself. And to the people that you've been called to lead.
Okay. Looks like Rosie's having a little internet hitch over there. Okay, let's just give her a few seconds. I'm sure it's going to come back. Okay, let's see. All right, so I'm just going to take her off and then see if she comes back through. But as I'm listening to Rosalind, I'm just feeling like, imagine all the people who work in your team had these learnings from Live to Lead. Your company will be a different company altogether. You know, so much rich learnings from one individual. So please, as you're preparing your budgets, put the line in for Live to Lead 2025. Okay, it looks like we've lost Rosalind there. So I'm going to just wait and see if she's able to come back. Yes. So if you're preparing your budget, your CEO, head of HR, please put Live to Lead 2025 for October next year into your calendar, because if one person in your team is thinking like this, then your organization is going to make a lot of improvements. So please keep Live to Lead on your calendar. All right. So yes, we still lost Rosalind. So I'm just going to bring Na back, and then with Uncle Sam, maybe we'll take a quick commercial break and then see if she's able to rejoin. Yes, let's do a quick commercial break, and then please stay with us. Don't go away. All
right. I am winning on all fronts limitlessly.
I have made tremendous improvement at work through delegating and empowering teams.
We started with the law of intentionality, which specifically makes it clear that growth cannot just happen. You have to be intentional about your growth.
CTO Africa Leadership brings you the Grow Journey, a series of masterclasses based on John C. Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. In this 10-week virtual growth accelerator, you will acquire the skills to thrive and flourish as you evolve into a more impactful and fulfilled individual. You will master the art of personal and professional development as you craft and execute your customized growth plan. Limited seats available. Register now for the next cohort.
Hey there. Join the next cohort of CTO Ghana's growth journey.
The next cohort is coming on. Get involved and your life will never be the same.
Okay, all right. Welcome back, everyone. So we have Rosalind back on screen. All right. Okay, Rosalind, over to you.
Thank you, Joy. I'm not sure where you lost me, but I think it was around when I was speaking about mentorship, being a leader who serves as well, and then sharing what you have learned with others, coaching and guiding others. And in coaching and guiding others as well, you even continue to grow. Networking is about being with the people with the right mindsets. They used to say, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your character." And it's the same thing. People with the same mindset as you do, when you're engaged in with them, that is when you also grow because they are like-minded. All of you are thinking along the same patterns as well, and then you challenge each other to grow. Self-care, like Nas spoke about, taking care of ourselves, both physically and then mentally as well, so that we are always present and then always being able to guide our teams and lead them forward, speaking life into our teams, speaking life into ourselves, the positive affirmations. Those are things that drives us forward as well. So we need to lead ourselves, ensure we have the right mindsets to be able to lead the other people who we have a responsibility to. That moves me to my second area, which comes to mindset. Mindset, knowing that leadership technically isn't power. You do not have power over anybody, but leadership is a responsibility. Mr. Kwame Pienim spoke about the fact that if before we take on any leadership roles or before we take on any leadership places in society, we need to ensure that we've subjugated ourselves. And then we have a high level of humility and then also teamwork and appreciation, appreciating the people that we work with, the people that we work through, the people that we inspire every day, appreciating what they bring to the table. Jack Welch, I had to learn this. He says that when we're made leaders, we weren't given a crown. We're given a responsibility to develop others. We're given a responsibility to bring out the best in others. That is the mindset that we each have to have. Whether you're in political leadership, whether you're in a corporate world, whether you are the head of a family, you need to know that you are there not wielding power over others, but you are there to ensure you are bringing the best out of those people. So we carry leadership as a responsibility and not as power. David Ofosudote will tell you that power is useless when it doesn't benefit the people that you think you wield that power over. If you think you have power, it's the people that you lead that should feel that power, that should be benefiting from that power. But they shouldn't be, how should I say, they shouldn't feel afraid of that particular power. Abundance versus scarcity. There is enough pie to go around. When you have the right mentality, you know that there's a lot of work to do in society. There's a lot of work to do within the business where you work. So when each of us are growing in our various different parts, we are all working together to move the business forward, to move Ghana forward, to move the world forward. But if it's as though there's only one pie, we are all rushing for the one pie, our attitudes are different. We are in competition with each other instead of being in competition with ourselves, instead of being ensuring that each and every day we are better than yesterday. But if I'm always fighting with nah, I want to be better than nah, we both do not progress because we are not focusing on the bigger goal. That's another area, another aspect of the abundance versus scarcity mindset as well. Another key thing that David Ofosudote brought out very well was the fact that the future is now. The future is today. Understand what your mission and your vision in this life is and begin today to achieve that vision. Maybe in the next 5 years, you want to be president. To be president in the next 5 years, you need to begin today. It is the little steps you take today that will send you there. If you are waiting all of a sudden the next 5 years, you'll be president, it will not happen. So what we want to see in Ghana in the future, what we want to see in the businesses where we work in the future, what we want to see in the businesses that we own in the future, we need to start living those visions today. Today alone is the future. The future is not tomorrow, it's not the next few hours. It is this very minute and it is this very second. Also, we need to understand that everything does not rest with us. We aren't God per se, in the sense that the how to deliver the vision, how to bring the change, how to bring the transformation might not always sit with you. You need a group of people. You need to work through people. You need to understand that you do not deliver any of the result that you deliver on your own. The other school of thought is the fact that there's no self-made man because you cannot work alone to deliver the things you need to deliver. So also understand the value of the people that you are working with, the value of the team that drives the agenda that you go into your business every day with, the agenda that you go into our offices every day with, the agenda that we wake up every day, that's the future we want to see for our family. We cannot deliver it alone. We deliver it with the teams that we work with. A few things, I call them blind spots, in the sense that, so you figure you've been a leader for a while, you basically know a bit of things, or you know everything, but there were things that stood out for me during Live to Lead 2024 on the 4th of October, which I call the blind spots. Energy as a growth gap. Nan spoke about it. So we usually set the performance goals, and we forget that to achieve those performance goals, we need to set the growth goals as well. So the energy gap is that the when we overlook the growth gaps that we have. So I have set a target to say that I'm a salesperson. I want to sell 15,000 books within this year. How do I sell that book when I have not grown my sales skills, my negotiation skills? I have not grown those. I need to set those growth goals as well. So that gap is what we need to manage: the mental energy, the physical energy, the emotional energy, the spiritual energy as well. All these four. That was a big standout for me. It used to be a very blind spot. So these are the performance goals. These are the performance targets that we are chasing. Forgetting that you also need to be in a space where you have the fuel to be able to get there. When Valerie was speaking about this, she spoke about the fact that she was driving. She sent some friends to the mall. She didn't look at her fuel tank. So halfway back home, that's when she realized that she didn't have enough fuel to get back home. So she'd gone to the mall. She had delivered one part of the performance goals. The other half was getting back home. And the fuel was finished simply because she hadn't looked at the fuel tanker. She hadn't looked at her energy meter. And so that's how practical some of these things have to be. The second one is the primacy effect. So this came through from Kwame Pienim's presentation, where he said that we need to recognize that if we believe we are growing, then the people we work with as well are growing. If we are being the good leaders we are supposed to be, it means as we grow, we are growing our people as well. And so if we are stuck in that cognitive bias where we say, 2 years ago, I knew this person to be a low performer. He didn't know what he wanted, or he couldn't even understand the goals that we had set for ourselves. If you are being the right leader and developing your people, you should be able to recognize that these people are also growing under your leadership as well. And so you need to ensure that you also now value their input. You listen to them. You do not dismiss them simply because of what you knew previously. If what you knew previously is still true about them today, you haven't been a good leader as well. So we need to be mindful of that primacy effect. And we also need to understand our responsibility in ensuring that if that person wasn't pulling their weight previously and they still aren't pulling their weight, what have I done to ensure that this one changes? And so that was a very big light bulb moment for me as well. And then diversity. This one was Malcolm Gladwell, where the composition of a team, not just the number of people in the team, but the composition of the team, the kind of composition in our teams are very important. If all of us, we have strong cohesion, we understand each other, we know everything, it blinds us, we become complacent. But if there's healthy challenges, we not just accepting the status quo, we challenging each other because we have slightly different ways of thinking, it helps. So there's the gender diversity you can think about. There would also be the diversity in where we've grown up, which kind of schools we've attended. So it's not just the Ivy League schools people that who've gone to the best schools that you put in your teams because you think you want the best people. But being mindful of the composition of your teams, how many females, how many males, which people went to these Ivy League schools and so think about the same thing, which people went to the grade B or C schools and so think differently about stuff. That is the way to go. Diversity is more than just about gender, but about other various different levels as well. It was a big blind spot and a huge light that was thrown for me at that time as well. And then Kwame Pienim again spoke about our inherent values, our inherent capabilities, that is character, and then emotional intelligence. It is not just about being a high performer. It's not just about knowing how well to sell. It's not just about being the best operations manager if I do not have the right character, if I do not respect the team that I work with, if all I value is the results and not even how well they are or how their family members are. So character and emotional intelligence for leaders is also very, very important and very critical. So when I break my learnings into 3, leading self, having the right mindset, knowing and understanding that leadership really is a responsibility and not power. And then also the things that we probably hadn't paid attention to, but it was brought to light for us during Live to Lead 2024. On my next slide, Joy, if you would be so gracious to move the slide for me, you would realize on the notepads that we were given, there was something like, what are we going to apply? What are we going to change? What are we going to be teaching? And so for me, especially for the pattern words from John Maxwell, produce, we need to ensure that we are producing the future leaders. We need to ensure we are producing the right leaders. We mentor the people to ensure that they have the right mindsets to lead the businesses we are working in when we aren't there, to lead our nation, Ghana, when we become too old to be active leaders. And we need to empower them. We need to empower them by investing in them, investing in their growth functionally, investing in their growth leadership-wise, businesses investing and bringing people to live to lead, understanding what their growth gaps are, what the gaps to being able to achieve are, and investing to get them the right capability training and stuff like that. It's one of the key things that I have taken away to apply, and I have started applying change in progress over perfection. And so this is where we want to be, but the little steps have to be recognized. The small things people achieve have to be recognized, and to know that it takes one step every day. Like David Ofosudote said, the present and the next present is actually the future. Today is actually the future. So the one step I take today to ensure that my vision for the next 5 years is achieved has to be celebrated as well, because you will not attain perfection in any day, and none of us are perfect anyway. The other thing also changing is the mentality around power. You wield power over nobody. Leadership is a responsibility. When we are given that crown of leadership, it's a responsibility for us to develop the people that we've been assigned to. Teaching the value of self-worth. Giving worth is what God gives us as our talent. And then growing worth is what we do to ensure that that talent we've been given, we are building on, and then we are growing. To whom much is given, much is expected. And also who little is given, and they take very good care of it as well. You get more as well. So continuous growth, continuous learning is one critical aspect that I'm going to take to heart, or I've taken to heart, and I'm ensuring that I'm imparting in the people I lead as well, to ensure each and every time they are becoming better. In closing, John Maxwell said this when we began. It was at the beginning when we were speaking about the abundance mindset. He said, what we think about determines what we see. What we see determines what we do. And what we do determines what we get. So what is it that you want to get? You need to start thinking about that. And as you're thinking about that, you can visualize it. When you visualize it, you need to take the action now. And as you take the action now, you will get the results. And so we all want a better Ghana. We want Ghanaians who are transformed. We are renewed in our mindset. We want to change our nation. We want to change the small societies in where we live. We want to be the transformational leaders in the businesses where we are. It takes us to change our thinking. If the people who will be in control of our nation in the future are our young ones, and so those of us who are supposed to be leading them, who are supposed to be teaching them and giving them the right experience, what they hear, what they seek, what they think, and what they believe is what they see in us. And so we are actually determining the future by what we are doing today. And so what are we teaching our teams? What are we teaching our people? What are we teaching our children? That's the question we need to be asking ourselves. That's the question I came out of Live to Lead with. And in answering those questions every day, it's changing how I'm leading my people. It's changing how I'm running my home. And it's changing the type of leader that Rosalind Ultraprat is now. These were my learnings from Live to Lead. And I'm happy to have been able to share it with all of you today. Thank you, Joy. Back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rosalind. I just want to encourage everyone who is listening. If you loved what was shared, just type in the chat, look at the fuel gauge. Look at the fuel gauge. Just let me know you are listening to us. Type in the chat, look at the fuel gauge, because you don't want to call people around to help you push the car back home. And that was Valerie's. They had to help her push the car to a filling station. Yes, please put it in the chat. Let's know that you are with us. So we're going to dive into some conversations. A few things jumped at me. Thank you for reminding all of us of some of the amazing lessons that we had at Live to Lead. And I'll be bringing Sarah and then also Uncle Sam and Asana so that we can just have a few questions go around. And if you also have some questions for Rosalind and Na, please feel free to use the comments, and then we'll be able to get to that. But before we do, let me just acknowledge a few people joining us. Yes. Today's a full house. We have let me just acknowledge a few people who joined us. So Barbara Labi, Ama Esiedu Echikum, thank you for joining us. She said, rightly so and informative when now speaking. We also had Richmond Chum who's saying hello, and then Amadou Boli from Mali. Thank you for joining us. Barbara Labi, Vivian Jodu. Yes, look at the full gauge. I see that coming in. Thank you so much for following. Portia Amono, Foster Bediakon, Ryder Mills. Thank you all so much for always keeping our guest, on this leadership platform. Uncle Sam, Sarah, I know you guys were just laughing, smiling while the presentations were going on. What was going through your mind? What were your takeaways from the sessions? Uncle Sam?
Well, this was just beautiful. And I mean,
Yeah.
last week there were two sets of people who were in the room and they shared. This week, another set of people, and you can see completely different dimension. And I just want to appreciate Na and Rosalind for the beautiful perspectives that they have shared. Now, I just want to pick up from where Rosalind ended and to ask both of you. I mean, it's obvious that you are improving in your leadership from some of the lessons that you are gathering from Live to Lead. Now mentioned it that she's been with Live to Lead for years now. Rosalind has been with us and always on the leadership platform. So my question, what would you say to other of your colleagues in your professions about Live to Lead and leadership? And how do you think we can get more of your colleagues into the room, say next year? What will you say to your colleagues in your professions about some of the things you are learning? So just as imagine your colleagues are listening to you with the experience you've had in Live to Lead over the years, and particularly Live to Lead 2024. What will you say to them to get them into the room? Let me start with Na, and then
All
Rosalie
right.
will continue.
Thank you. Yes, so I'm sure my colleagues are watching because I shared the link with them. And for me, in particular, Live to Lead has been a blessing to me. Yes, I had to take up the mantle of leadership at a very early stage in my life. I had to lead myself. And it was through some of these sessions that we're having with John Maxwell. I have most of his books, I do read them. And Live to Lead has helped to improve my leadership skills. I used to be very timid, very shy, but with some of the lessons, what I learned from the books, what I hear from the leadership platform, you always find me wanting to serve. And through service, you find out that it gets to a point that that mantle of leadership comes to you automatically because you've been serving and serving for so long. Before you realize, you just have to take up a leadership position and you just cannot say no because you have prepared yourself. So once the opportunity came, you just took advantage of it. So for my colleagues who are watching, there's been instances where I share the link on some of our pages. I do share them for some of my colleagues to join. I would want to encourage each and every one of them to make time. It's a free leadership training that is being offered by the Center for Transformational Leadership. And I would urge you to take advantage of it and then grow your leadership skills. And so for me, it has helped me to have a very good bond with my teammates. When you come to the office, you wouldn't know who the leader is, who the staff is. We bond so well because of some of these leadership skills that I have learned from the leadership platform. And so I want to encourage everybody to just make time, join the leadership platform, and learn. learn how to lead, learn how to lead your team members, learn how to serve, and this will help you in becoming very productive and being a great leader. Thank you.
Thank you, Nam.
Thank you so very much, and now for that. And now, Rosalind, and enjoy reference your intro, which is, you're now 80% of your activity as a leader is not technical, it's non-technical.
As a
Actually,
people.
I had a group CEO who told us, I mean, in a bank, he says, I don't do banking, even though I'm the CEO of the bank, because 90% of the time, I'm recruiting people, I'm talking about people strategy and so on, and it has nothing to do with banking. So, what will you say to your friends, your colleagues, and your other professionals in your professional circle about leadership and how you are learning and growing and what they can do? Rose.
Yes. So for me, it's three things that I've started doing. So it's sharing the CTL link every week now on my platform for people to join and also to get acquainted with it so that they are picking learnings for themselves. The second one I've told myself and I've actually started doing is actually living what I have learned, role modeling it. And so people would observe and then ask, what is driving this change? And as they ask what is driving this change, you share what you have learned with them. And then also in the, I wrote it whilst there and I'm going to make it happen to sign up for the growth journey with CTL. And it's for two reasons why I'm signing up for the growth journey, for my own journey and also for the mentees that I have to ensure I am sharing with them as well. So as I share with one person, that one person shares with others as well. And that's how we drive the leadership, the leadership that we want to see. That's how we are going to drive it. So I'd first joined that group journey. I shared with my mentees, and then also already the leadership platform every Saturday. The link is already going out, but conscientiously ensuring that I'm living the lessons that I have learned, so that by people observing, they also tap into that. Half of them will come and ask you, it seems you've changed. What's driving that change? And I get to tell the live to lead story and the CTL story and drive more traffic to the page. And that's when we get the change that we need. So for me, those are the three practical things I've chosen to do.
Wonderful. Sarah?
Yes. I mean, I feel so full. I'm just reliving Live to Lead all over again and getting more juice out of what happened on October 4th. All right. So now, for me, what I would like to say to Na and as well as Rosalind is that thank you so much for your insights that you have shared with us. It has really deepened what I had taken down, and I'm taking more notes as I go along. And I love the fact that both of you are having practical, applicable actions that you did take. You are really putting into action the ACT. And I just love that. I just love that. And I will encourage that is something that we always encourage on the leadership platform to have this ACT. It's an acronym for us to apply what we learn, what we are going to change, and what we are going to teach. One thing that I just want everybody on the platform to know is that Leave to Lead was not only for the first week of October, it's still continuing. So, in your companies, in your organizations, just reach out to CTL Africa and we will come to you. We will come to you. The season ends next year, February 2025, end of February. So you still have got the opportunity to do so. Don't even wait until next year. Still, you have be able to glean or be like Na and also Rosalind, what they have been able to imbibe and they are impacting to their teams, not only to their teams, their community, and to Ghana at large. So, this is an encouragement that I want to share with all of you. Now, I can ask my question. Now I can ask my practical questions. Now was sharing with us what she has started doing. So I won't ask the question now. Now you have the floor now to share with us concretely what you are doing. Rosalind
Okay.
has shared hers with us. So over to you now.
All right. Thank you, Auntie Sarah. Yeah, so I'll continue from where I ended, but just a brief recap. I was saying that you cannot achieve success with shortcuts. So for me, I don't do shortcuts. I don't do last minutes. Yeah. So and when you have an abundance mindset, you don't look for shortcuts. Yes, and there should be a change in my attitude, and so that I'll push my vision forward and strive for excellence. And if I want to strive for excellence, it shouldn't be business as usual, the normal way of doing things. No, you should move a step ahead. You should up your game. And so, Live to Lead has made me realize that I shouldn't be content with where I am. There's more than one pie. I should go out there and then look for other pie. And so it will also give me that edge to strive for excellence. And in so doing, I have to change the way I do some of my things. And also, I've also learned to align my resources with my dreams. And so I don't set unachievable dreams. You look at a dream with the knowledge from the energy gap. Yes, so I know what my energy gap is. I have to work towards filling if there are any gaps, I need to fill them to be able to move my vision forward. And again, it has helped me to realize my worth. Yes, I have that the given worth, and I have to improve upon it. I need to grow my worth, and also I know I'm worthy. I shouldn't be giving excuses. And while I'm grateful for what God has given me, I should also strive to grow that worth that I have been blessed with. And so after Live to Lead, like I mentioned earlier on, I've changed my thoughts. In fact, there's been a radical change in my thoughts. That's my mental energy. How I react to certain things have changed. I've broadened my knowledge in knowing the various types of energy. Again, I also, of course, I always like to write. I always like to write. I always write my to-do list so that I don't forget now. And I'll have to instill that attitude in my team members. Of course, they know. I know most of them are watching. And I always tell them, write it down, write it. Because even at my age, I write it down. So how much more you, yes. And so I always encourage them to write it down. Once you write it down, you don't lose your thoughts. You don't lose them. And also, I've also learned to be very intentional about my emotional energy. Yes, in fact, I wouldn't take that for granted. I always want to create a very positive environment, and that will help me to be more creative and then bring out new thoughts. Again, I spoke about I was on my spiritual energy when Joy asked me to just hold it there. Yes. So spiritual energy, very, very important. You have to make positive affirmations. And I think Shante, when she had a cancer, she made positive affirmations. She affirmed positive words over her life, and that will also help her to successfully come out of it. So I've also learned to make positive affirmations over my life and some of the decisions that I take. Again, to more or appreciate my team members the more. Of course, I do appreciate them so much, and they know that I think I'll have to step it up a bit and appreciate them more because I'll need people and I'll need good leadership. And because everything rises and falls on leadership. And so I need to appreciate them. And in scaling up my business, yes, I'm a business person. And so in scaling up my business, I should be thinking of very good leadership skills. So I have to also learn, continuous learning. Improving my leadership skills is very critical because if you think you are leading and nobody is following you, you're only taking a walk. And for me, in fact, it would be very sad for me to find myself taking a very long, unproductive walk. And so I'll have to up my leadership skills. I have to sharpen my leadership skills so that I'll better lead my team members. And also, I've also learned that the battle must be won in the mind. And
Yeah.
once you win that mental battle, everything will fall into place. And Proverbs says it, Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7 says that as a man thinks in his heart, so does he become. And so I learned our actions are a direct result of what we think. Our actions are a direct result of what we continuously think or what our thoughts are. So a negative mind would give you a negative action, or a negative mind will result in a negative life. And so I've learned to renew my mind in accordance with the word of God. And once you do that, you realize that you reap the good and the perfect will of God over your life. So sometimes I think one thing I also learned is that to protect my emotional energy, I need to set boundaries. Yes, I need to set boundaries to guard my emotional energy, to guard my physical energy. If there's something that you can do, you just have to say that, well, I would have loved to do this, but unfortunately, I'm not able to do it. So you need to set boundaries so that not just anybody comes into your space to come and then disrupt your emotional energy, your physical energy, your mental energy, your spiritual energy. So setting boundaries is very, very important. And so let me say these are my great takeaways from Live to Lead, and these are things that, in fact, I have started implementing to help me become a better leader. Thank you.
Excellent. That
Thank
is
you.
awesome. That is awesome. One more question. How are you going to hold yourself accountable for all these lovely commitments that you have made? Because we know every leader needs a coach. Who is your coach?
Yes, mentorship is very, very good. Mentorship is very, very good. And so my coach is CTL Africa. And I always I always try to be on the leadership platform. In fact, over the years, I've learned so much from CTL Africa. And maybe I have to start talking to Mr. Yi to see how I can move on to the next level. And so, Mr. Yi, I'm sure we'll meet in church tomorrow and we'll talk.
Yes, we'll meet. Yes. All right. Good. Rosalind?
I think either yourself or Joy is going to hold me to account because I've already said it for everybody to hear that I'm signing up to the growth journey.
Yes.
So you hold me
Absolutely.
account to sign up to that. And as I go through that journey, I'll carry my mentees along. So one of you is going to hold me to account. I know that for sure. But Sarah, do not worry at all. We'll keep our
Excellent.
commitment.
Excellent.
I told you Sarah will not let you go without these questions. So
All
important.
right.
Yeah. Any
Wonderful.
other, yes, Mr. Imo or
Yes,
Sarah, any closing comments?
I think this has been really great,
Yeah.
and we've kept these ladies from their husbands and children since yesterday. So from my side, I would just want to hear their desserts,
Parting
the
shots. Yeah.
icing on the cake, the final words, and then that's all. I'm all ears.
So maybe we can start with Na. Just 30 seconds, your pattern shots, and then we come to Rose.
All right. Okay. So what I'll say, the abundance mindset, people with the abundance mentality are always willing to learn. You are always willing to share, like we have done this evening. We have shared insights from Live to Lead. And then remember that the more you share, the more you gain knowledge.
Yeah.
And again, I want to end with a quote from Ben Sweetland. And he says, "We cannot hold a torch to light another's path without brightening our own path." Thank you so much. And thank you to all our listeners.
Awesome. That was a very good way to end. All right,
Yes.
Rosling, over to you.
For me, I'd like to repeat something we've all said quite a number of times through today's call to say that everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything rises and falls on us. And we need to remember what Jack Welch has taught us to say that as leaders, we're not wearing a crown or wielding power over people. As leaders, we have a responsibility to ensure that we develop our people and bring people up. So that is our job, and that's what we are going out to do from today. Develop the right leaders for tomorrow, and let's ensure Ghana and the societies where we live become a better place for everybody. Thank you, CTL, for having us and allowing us to share this.
Ladies, I think for the next Live to Lead, you have to become speakers at the next Live to Lead. You have done brilliantly.
Yes.
All
Lovely,
right.
lovely. Thank
Okay,
you all so
Joy,
much.
over to you.
Over to you,
Thank
Joy.
you. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for learning. And I mean, just hearing Rosalind and Nash share about how the leadership platform has over the years, and this is not something we do one day, over the years, been a blessing to them. There was a question that was asked before as we wrap up. A question that was asked during Live to Lead about from one student who said, "We've been hearing this over and over again. We've been hearing leadership. We've been hearing we are the future leaders." And the answer, this was a question posed to lawyer David Dote, and he said, we shouldn't get it all wrong. We're talking about you. Are you growing? Are you changing? And just hearing Rosalind share about how she has seen vivid transformation in her leadership, how now has seen actual tangible transformation from being working for somebody to now owning her own firm. It speaks to the volumes that every single time you invest watching or being a part of this conversation is not wasted. One day you wake up and you realize that you have the skill to lead on a higher level, your leadership lead has increased, and you'll be amazed at what you are able to do. So we encourage you to keep staying tuned. Next week, we'll be here again with another episode, and we're so grateful for being with us. I just want to encourage you, CTL Africa Leadership, we have brought so much. If you go to our website, you realize we have coaching, we have corporate trainings, we have personal growth, leadership training like the Growth Journey. We're starting the next cohort very, very, very soon. I think in the first week of November, we're starting very soon. So if you want to join this journey where we go through the 15 laws of growth, please just give us a comment or a shout out, and then the team will get back to you, or send us a message on WhatsApp 055-666-7718. And then if you also want us to bring one or two of the Live to Lead sessions to your team, abundance mindsets, the energy gap, the diversity video to your team, please send us a message, send us an email, enquiries@ctlafricaleadership.com. And we'll come and do this for your team. And I'm sure you'll be a happy HR manager, you'll be a happy CEO while your team grows. So we're very much grateful to you, and we wish you guys a very good night, and see you again next week, Saturday, same time, 7 p.m. My name is Joy Bosu-Schmutz, and I'm always so happy to come your way. All right. And a big shout out to my team, Vivian, Priscilla, Gideon, Charles, Hawa, the entire team, Elizabeth. I want to say thank you all for the great work you're doing to bring this to the world. All right. Good night, and see you next week. Bye-bye.